Hey, top of the morning to you boys and girls. This is Richard Scouten with Remount Horsemanship, and it's pouring rain outside today in North Carolina, so that gives me an opportunity to talk to you guys about the magical, mystical, and often misunderstood spur. I get a lot of questions about my particular spurs, mainly because of the rowel size that my spurs have. These are my spurs, these are Justin's spurs, and they're even bigger than my rowel size. These are some Chihuahua style spurs, and they got a decent sized rowel on them. But the big thing about spurs is they're a reinforcement aid. If I apply my leg and my horse is not yielding and they're pushing into pressure or they're just standing there, then I'm going to activate my spur to cause my horse a little bit of discomfort so he'll move off of my leg. What I do when I turn my horse, so this is my right boot, so if I'm going to the left, I'll put my leg on, no response. I'll turn my toe out, no response. Then I'll push my toe down in my stirrup and I'll bring that spur up my horse's side to cause him a little bit of discomfort so he'll yield from that pressure. Pressure motivates and the release teaches. The big thing about all of these spurs, no matter how big the rowels are or how severe you think they are, is the number of tines on them. So if you look at this spur, you'll see it has a whole bunch of tines. That's going to distribute the pressure even more than a spur rowel that has a few tines. If you look on the internet and Google, old-timey spurs, you can find some spurs that have even much bigger rowels than this, and they have 4 or 6 tines. Now what that's going to do is that's going to apply one tine at a time into your horse's side. So that's applying a whole lot of pressure in a little bitty area, as opposed to applying the same amount of pressure but distributed over a much greater area. When I have all these tines on a rowel, I can push into my hand or my horse's side as hard as I want, and I can still move that rowel. Not painful at all, it's just causing a little bit of motivation to say, hey, wake up, get some life in your feet, and get off of my leg. This is an English spur I took off of a boarder's boot. And one thing that I don't really like about these ones, it's just a little nub, there's no rowel on it, is you press in, and boy, the harder you push in, you can't really move that spur up and down at all. It's there and it's stuck, and that actually hurts my hand more than these big roweled ones with a whole bunch of tines on them. Now, your spur is just a tool in your toolbox. What makes a spur harsh, just like what makes any bit or hackamore or whatever harsh, is the user. So it's how you apply it. One thing I don't do with spurs is I don't jab. I don't kick with them. I'll put it on the horse's side, and then I'll bring my toe, I'll put it in the horse's side, and I'll just work my toe up and down, and I'll kind of rake the side of my horse and kind of get that rowel working to motivate him to leave. So I ride probably 90% of the horses I ride, I have spurs on. But when I'm riding those horses, I don't use those spurs about 90%. The reason I have my spurs is the same reason an English rider might ride with a crop. I have it when I need it, and I use it only when I need it. Spurs are the last thing I use, not the first thing I use. So I use my seat aids, my leg aids, and then the spur comes in to reinforce my body aids, because it's all about your body and your seat. So that's a little bit about spurs. Used correctly, they're very humane. The big rowels with a lot of tines offer a tremendous amount of pressure distribution, so they're not severe in the right hands. So that's a little bit about spurs. I just thought I'd take a few minutes and tell you guys about. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'll catch you next time.